nothing. In 2014, I did something that I used to do as a kid all the time, which was create a version of myself inside of a pro wrestling game. The difference between wrestling games today and wrestling games back in the day is that nowadays they announce you to the ring. At the time, I had just named the character Chris Denker, just after myself, but obviously Denker isn't in the list of names that they will announce you to the ring as. So I'm going to the list and I see, like, you know, Donner, the D and Donner and all this other stuff, and then I get to Danger! And I'm like, that sounds close enough. So I like listen to how she announces it. It was Lillian Garcia at the time. I listened to how she announces it. Chris Danger! And I was like, play that again. Let's go. Chris Danger! And I said, I think that's it. I think we got something there. And from that point forward, people often refer to me as Chris Danger, even just on the, they're like, hey, Chris, like they say Chris Danger. They don't say, hey, Chris, or hey, Denk, or hey, DenkOps. It's 9 times out of 10, it's Chris Danger. And the fact that that happened just because I tried to find something that just sounded like my own name, but then ended up becoming something that I'm branding off of a Danger Zone and I'm naming moves after. It's just like, going back and thinking about it is wild, and it blows my mind every single time. So I've honestly been thinking about this since I was like 5 or 6. I've always been a fan of wrestling, but with me, I was always undersized, especially like as a kid and getting into like middle school and high school. Like I loved football, but I wasn't big enough for football. I loved wrestling, but I wasn't big enough for wrestling. So I would do basketball and baseball and stuff. And I kind of tossed it off to the side as like, oh yeah, that would be cool, that could be cool, but it's just probably just not, you know. I could do other stuff and I'd be perfectly happy. Time goes on. I somehow become a full-time YouTuber and now have circled back to my life revolving mostly around wrestling. And it kind of started poking at me and stuff. Yeah! My good friend CM Pulse, James Arneill, he started training and he's sending me all his clips and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I look at comments and I ask, oh, when are you gonna get in the ring, Chris? When are you gonna get in the ring? When are you gonna stop with the video games and get in the ring? And I'd be like, that's a funny comment. But then I would sit there and think about it like, that's a good question. I would say the thing that really put it over the edge, and I've got to blame my friends for this, is DPW. For anybody that doesn't know, DPW is Deadlock Pro Wrestling. It's run by 3 of my closest friends in the entire world. And they presented the opportunity to me to be a manager. It's like, hey, we got this tag team. We think they're really good. You know, your guys' personalities are very similar, and we think kind of adding you with them could really just make everybody look great. The fact that they were then able to make that into reality, to launch this actual promotion and then ask me to be involved in it, I said, yeah, that sounds cool as hell. So I would show up to the DPW shows and I would be around some of the most hungry, just like, we want the world type of people, type of wrestlers that just want to go out there, show everybody what they're made of, show everybody what they're capable of doing. And when you're around energy like that, it's really hard to not be attracted to it. As time would go on, I would notice myself being much more involved in creatively what we're gonna do and why we should do it. And not just like, hey, this is what I wanna do, but now I'm thinking from a standpoint of, okay, we're putting a wrestling show together. Does this fit in here? Does that fit in here? I'm thinking in ways that I never really used to think before. So as the months and months and months go on, I'm near a ring every single day. I'm near these people every single day. I felt this magnetic force just like pulling me towards the ring and just trying this whole thing out and seeing what happened. I kind of got to a point where I was like, I need more. I need more than this. Between that and then DPW launching and the fact that, you know, I'm not 22 anymore, this kind of seems like the time. If something comes from it, great. And if not, you know, at least I don't have to say, I wish I had just gone down and taken that, you know, that class with Breeze, or I wish I had just gone down and done that. At least I know whatever comes from this, I can say, I gave it a shot, and, you know, whatever happens, happens. So I decide to call up a friend of mine named Breezy.
So when Chris actually called me and said that he wanted to come to Flatbacks and learn from us, I wasn't really that shocked. He's such a big fan, and he's such a, wrestling is just ingrained in him and everything that he does, on his YouTube channel or just in everyday life. He's a fan of this. So if you're a big enough fan, which he is, which I am, which everybody is, it's just a matter of time before you give it a try. And I know that he, has been wanting to do it for a while, has been wondering for a while, and finally worked up the courage and took that first step that, 90% of people don't ever do. So the fact that he actually called and went, hey man, I want to do this, and I'm actually going to give it a try, and I'm going to be down there, and I went, cool man, let's have some fun. Let's give you the actual experience and stepping over the barricade and getting into what we actually do.
So after that conversation, he pretty much just said, say the word, let's do it. And here I am. Pulling up to Flatbacks on that first day was absolutely nerve-wracking. First of all, I knew Flatbacks was gonna be the place from the beginning, just because of Breeze and Spears' reputation as coaches and teachers, and just how good they are technically and fundamentally in the ring. I knew that these were the guys, this was the place to get where I needed to get with what I wanted to do. And it's obviously very important that you trust who you're gonna let train you, because I pretty much went in there and I said, I don't know anything, I'm listening to you.
I got ripped off when I first tried to go to wrestling school. I got lied and $4,000 taken from me. I got beat up in my first school that I went to. We did the infamous chop class, which I'm sure your audience is about to see shortly. I think I was the lightest kid in my class out of 12 to 15 kids. I was about 170 pounds. The next kid up was 205 pounds. So by chop number 2, I'm already bleeding. So, and I mean, trickling blood. It was just a different day and age. But again, at the same time, you'd heard all the stories about guys coming in even years before that, and they would kind of be introduced to the industry in a very physical manner to see if this is something you truly wanted to take on. So our training nowadays at Flatbacks isn't about beating you up or seeing how tough you are physically. It's about putting in the work cardiovascular wise. We're gonna do push-ups, we're gonna do squats, we're gonna see if that, you can mentally get through that, you got a pretty good chance at this.
I show up that first day, and even though it's Breeze, and even though I've known him forever and everything, it's just like, I'm nervous. Like, I'm so friggin' nervous because I don't know what to expect. I remember how the bumps felt. I remember how much pain I felt the day after. But aside from that, I don't. What does a full wrestling course training entail? What happens here? I wasn't even worried about, oh, what if I hurt myself, or what if I'm in pain? It's just like I felt a lot of pressure to be really good, really fast, and nobody is as hard on me as I am. So on top of everything, on top of my nerves, on top of not knowing what I'm doing, and I'm standing inside the ring talking to Breeze, and I just hear this loud noise coming from the entrance, and I look over, and it's Creed.
Look, first thing, you wipe your feet off? Yeah. You got it? I'm making sure. Respect. The whole Fuck. Why are you here? I'm trying, man.
It's Austin Creed. I had asked him a couple days before, I was like, hey man, like we're starting up this week, I'd love you to come by at some point. And he hit me with the, yeah, man, like I got, this, we gotta be here, and which, I always understand, because he's a very busy man. That schedule that they run is ridiculous. So the surprise of him showing up was really cool. The thing about Austin, and the thing about our friendship, is that for some reason, the day I met him, I knew like this guy is gonna be one of my best friends for the rest of my life. And he's just that good of a person. Like, I wanted him to be there. He has 5 million things to do every single week. And even though he lied to me and told me he wasn't gonna be there, he showed up on the first day. He didn't wait to see, oh, let me see if he's serious about it, or let me see. No, he showed the fuck up on day one. And I will forever be grateful for that, because I consider that to be, that day is gonna be a day I remember for the rest of my life. And the fact that he knew that it was important enough for me to actually take time out of his day to show up meant more to me than he'll know. Even though I told him how much it meant to me, it meant a lot. We get in the ring and he said, okay, let's do some drills. And I said, I can do drills. I have drills all day. They call me Mr. Drills. So no problem. I learned real quick that whatever I thought a drill was is not what a drill actually is.
Like this way type of thing, and then move here. Right back. Okay. Here, down, catch yourself. Up.
Come on.
Up.
Why are you enjoying this?
Okay, man.
G-force training, like Top Gun. So that's what this is. Flatbacks is Top Gun.
I don't know whose idea this was. I'm gonna beat their ass.
And by the end of these quote unquote drills, I remember wanting to die. I remember wanting to die.
3, 2, 1, go.
Dang.
Stop in this corner, go back the other way. Very nice. Gross. Get back to this corner, give me a back bump and face bump.
This 5 minutes after I got in the ring for the first time, I said, holy shit, what am I doing?
Good? Oh, back. Next thing we're gonna do is bumps. So, the key on bumps is it's the only way to protect yourself. Right?
So we get to a point then where I have to obviously start bumping. I have to start throwing myself down on the ground, and he's obviously showing me the proper way to do it.
I see where it is. I go right here, I get nice and comfortable, kick my feet up, take a bump. Second I do, hop up, right back.
I was a little iffy about it, but I said, okay, I'll throw myself, bam! I did the first one, and I'm like, oh, okay, I remember how that feels. And it was one of those wake-up calls again of just like, okay, Chris, you're here now. This is it. If you're gonna leave, leave now. But then I got back up and I did another one. And then he made me do another one. And then I did a face bump. And then we did another one of those. And my face bump was so bad. I can't even watch it back. I cringe looking at it. I'm throwing myself down on the ground and I'm listening to his feedback. A few minutes in, regardless of how tired I am and how exhausted I am, I was like, falling down, getting up. Damn, this is kind of fun. Falling down, getting up. Damn, why do I enjoy this? Falling down, getting up, everything hurts. Damn, why am I liking this?
Don't puke, don't puke, don't puke. All right, I made it through that one.
By the end of that first day, I was standing outside just completely spent and bent over and, feeling crazy. But I remember saying like,
You know what the worst fucking part about all this is? I'm really fucking enjoying this. Fuck.
I know how painful it's gonna be. I know what I'm gonna have to put myself and my mind and body through just to make it through this. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So that at the end of that first day, my fears had been recognized, but then also taken away. Because everything I was afraid of came out that first day. Oh shit, what if my conditioning is just like trash and I can't make it through? What if like I gotta take a break because blah, blah, all these things that go through my head beforehand, and they all happened. And you know what? I still made it out the other side of that day. So that first day for me really set the tone of, this is how hard it's gonna be. This is how you're gonna feel every fucking day. This is what you're gonna have to go through. So you're either in or you're out. And I made the decision at the end of that first day that I was in. I'm there for the long haul, one way or another.
Is that the end of day one?
That is the end of day one.
Wrap? That's a wrap?
That's a wrap on day one.
Okay. How you feel?
Like dog shit.
Yeah. What hurts the most?
Nothing really hurts. I feel like I fucking got put through a grinder.
Yeah.
And just kept getting spat back out and put back in, spat back out. So I'm not, honestly, like, I don't give a fuck about the pain. If something hurts, something hurts. If something's sore, something's sore. I just want to be able to get fucking through it without having to walk out there or having to stop or having to put my knees up like this because I can't fucking finish.
Yeah.
That's what I want to get. That's where I want to get to.
So then we're it's a cardio work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, then you're gonna have some fun. I'm excited. At the end of the month, it's gonna be totally different.
I really hope so.
You're gonna come in killing it, like, oh, this ain't shit.
I really fucking hope so.
Yeah, man.
Day one, baby. We ain't done yet. Not by a long shot.
Woo! Your love is giving me energy. It makes it that much easier for me to breathe.
So we got through that first day, and I was feeling pretty good about it. I was in pain, and I came back next day, ready to go, whatever. And now we're getting into holds. We're getting into lockups. We're getting into, proper technique on certain things. And it surprised me a little bit. I'm like, well, this is day two, and I'm like, I've taken a lot of bumps, and I'm learning this, and this. And I realized, like, holy shit, Breeze is an incredible teacher. Breeze is a phenomenal teacher.
I wasn't really that surprised with Chris. Obviously, everybody watching, they know. He already knows certain things just because he's seen it. He's seen it for years and years and years. So he was very coachable. Like you showed him something, there wasn't a whole lot of correction. It was just kind of reps that you needed to get in to kind of teach your body what we were supposed to do. Really, for the most part, like you showed him something, couple reps in and we're moving along. So, he kind of had an accelerated program anyway, but we were already ahead of schedule, 2 or 3 days in, so.
Everything is explained exactly the way you need to hear it. He's not bullshitting you. He's not saying, oh yeah, let's do this move and do this move. Like, no, you need to learn this so that you can do this, which will lead to this, and et cetera, et cetera. Everything was laid out right there. And it's just a matter of, okay, can I do this and do it well? I would say by the end of the first week, I knew more about wrestling than I probably ever thought I would know in my life. It never felt rushed, even though I felt like we were learning so much so fast, because everything he was explaining to me was explained so clearly and plainly that I understood it. And I said, yeah, okay, I get it, that works. Here's why you put this here. Here's why we go from here to this next part of the match.
He's been a wrestling fan for a long time. And sometimes when you are learning how to do this, it makes a massive difference of you just know certain things go with certain things. As opposed to people who have never watched wrestling before, they try to make sense of it and you can tell them to do A and B, but they have no clue why A goes with B.
If you don't have the technique and the fundamentals down, I don't give a shit if you can flip off the top rope, if you can do this, I don't care what move you want to do. If your fundamentals and your technique are trash, none of it's gonna matter. His training style and just the way that he would lay everything out was so easy to digest that the fact that so many things were thrown at me at once, I wasn't afraid of it. I felt confident with what was being given to me. It would take me, sometimes it would take me a couple tries, and those first couple tries might have looked like shit, and they probably did. But by the time we got it, I was like, damn, I got that. Let's move on to the next thing. Show me what else we can do now. And the confidence really started to build after that first week because I knew what the pain was. I knew how hard it was going to be on my body and my conditioning. And now it was just a matter of show up, shut up, listen to everything he has to say, and just execute it as good as I could. And that was the only thing that I was focused on. Thankfully, we had some help there too. I should say I had some help because he had two of his I can't even call them students anymore because at this point they're workers in their own right. John and Noelle, who really carried me through a lot of those first couple classes.
So I started in 2019, so about 3 years now. I've been to 5 different wrestling schools. I started training at Flatbacks about a year ago, and I've just been here ever since. I trained at Lance's school. I was in his last class in 2019. And I feel like Lance taught me how to be a pro wrestler, and Spears and Breeze just taught me how to actually be like a sports entertainer. Like they're gonna go through everything, pro wrestling and all of that, but it's also the other side of things, like how to actually be the full package. Wrestling, promos, look, everything, and they'll actually sit down with you and go over what you're missing, and that's exactly what I need.
I was training in Los Angeles, and it was this all-women's company, and they train differently there. They just take like models, actors, that kind of thing, and then they decide to wrestle. So it was a big transition when I moved here because I wanted to go to wrestling school. I wanted to, wrestle for AEW, WWE, one of the big companies, and I didn't have my basics, and it was showing. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I came to a seminar here. I learned so much in that 3 hours, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I need to be here. I'll learn so much. And then I signed up for the next course, and I've been here since.
I obviously knew Breeze wasn't gonna be the one throwing himself down 150 times and all that stuff. Like, he's the coach. He shouldn't have to do that. So they pretty much helped walk me through all those initial drills and techniques and stuff. And they were incredibly helpful throughout that entire first week. Throughout the whole process, they've been incredible, but especially that first week, just helping me learn the ropes and just kind of reassuring that, like, look, man, we all did that. Everybody's first bump looks like shit. We've all been there.
You really just need to keep the other person safe because it's teamwork. Like, you guys have to make each other look good. You have to keep each other safe. You can only do so much yourself, so it's 50-50.
Guys, let's try to get a word with the NDA before the big tag team title opportunity. Let's see. Don't answer. Hey, Chris. You guys have a really big opportunity for the tag team titles tonight. What's your thoughts on that?
You know you pick the worst possible times, right? Like every single time. You brought a camera though.
Yeah.
Go away. Come here.
Okay.
Hold up. And then when you miss it,
All right.
that's it. Oh, what's this? What's
No,
this?
I want this here. Okay. Look,
We heard what the Workhorseman said. It is what it is. It's fine. But I have something I want to show everybody. So this right here is my first ever YouTube plaque. Congratulations for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. The first time I got any sort of tangible physical achievement for my hard work. Tonight, when these two walk away as the DPW World's Tag Team Champions, they're gonna feel that same pride. They're gonna feel that same emotion. And when it's all said and done, the reality and the NDA will outwork the Workhorsemen.
It was also really cool to have my boys Patty and Chance come through, because obviously we've been working together very closely for this last year, and those are my guys. Those are, I will, manager, no manager, whatever, those are my guys. So having them there, knowing what they know, and knowing kind of like what we've been through together this last year, having them there and actually tie up with me, like we were all smiling the whole time. We were just like, this is, how did we get here? This is absolutely crazy. These are the guys that I've walked to the ring for the last year. And now they not only trust and believe in me enough to want to be there and get involved in this whole process, but they were insanely supportive about it. And I can't stress and emphasize enough how important those two dudes are to me. Like those are my guys. I want to see them flourish and succeed. I don't, DPW or outside of DPW, whatever. So the fact that they actually wanted to show up and they came in and they tied up together, we're doing all stuff, we're doing drills together. But they're also students of the game, so they're listening to everything Breeze is saying and they're digesting all that stuff, and they're getting better just being in there and listening to everything, to the feedback that Breeze is given. And it's just like, that one day definitely stands out as one of the best days in the whole process, because it almost felt like a turning point. I was like, okay, we're past the initial what ifs and blah, blah, all that stuff, and now we're into the serious shit. We're into the meat of what we're doing, to the point where I can have my friends come in, we can actually lock up and do stuff, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about what we're doing. Those two dudes have been wrestling 9 years, I think, eight or 9 years Patrick's been wrestling for, maybe 6 or so for Chance, and here's me on day 4 or 5, whatever, and we're rolling together. And the fact that they believed in me enough to be there and trusted me enough to mess around with them, like that means the world to me. Those are my guys, and I can't imagine, just like I couldn't imagine Creed not being there, I can't imagine the reality not being there. Those are my guys.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hands on your head. One to the right. 3, 2, 1, go.
So now we're at the point where I know what I'm doing for the most part. I know what I got myself into. Everything's moving along. Then we get to a point where it is now time to ramp it up. You know, you're kind of out of the introductory phase, you're out of the ease in phase, and now it's full blown ass kicking time. And so I got my ass kicked.
Ready. 4. Punch kick burpee. 10.
The intensity was cranked up to maximum. The energy that I had to output was cranked up to maximum. It's not really something I touch on a whole lot, but I have mentioned it quite a few times. I do deal with a bit of anxiety and some other stuff, and a lot of times I will talk myself out of a situation before it even happens, and I will create the ultimate doomsday scenario in my brain before I even go do anything. So for one reason or another, who really knows, that day was just kind of one of those days. I kind of already felt like I showed up with half a tank, just because of how draining that anxiety can be sometimes. So I knew that was going to be a tough day. I did not, however, know just how tough it was going to be, because multiple times I had to take a little bit of a break, step outside, wasn't really feeling too hot. And at that point too, I probably made the dumb assumption of saying like, yeah, I feel like the hardest part is probably over.
Slow down, slow down. Biggest thing, if something goes wrong, something will always go wrong, but we can't stop. You can always get right back to where you need to be, but for whatever reason, we just can't snap out of it and expect them to stay with us. Right. Slow it down, find where you need to be.
You know, the first week is obviously going to be the hardest part, but it's just one of those things where every part could potentially be the hardest part, and you're not really sure what your limit is until you hit it. And that day I hit it. That day I found out against my will just exactly what my limitations were, and it is a very humbling experience. And the worst part about it too is that like, that was the last thing I wanted to happen. I was like, you know, as long as I could get through every single day, and I'll, you know, keep on fighting and I'll get back up and blah, blah, blah. And then that day showed me that it's gonna take a lot more than what I thought it was gonna take. And I'm going to have to find something in myself to get to that next level, because that day for me could have been a hard stop. That could have been the final day, honestly. Like just the way that I felt that day, the silence driving on the way home, just like running everything back in my head, disappointed in myself, mad at myself, you know, saying, oh, I should have done this and this and this, and I could have done this better, and I should have got, I don't care if I wanted to throw up, I should have got, like, all that stuff that I'm just throwing at myself. And it's not good. It's not good to do that. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing that, because it only just continues to drain you. And this is one of those things where you gotta be at the top of your game at all times. And if you're not, it will show. And that day was an awakening for me. It was the realization of just how elite you have to be if you want to be part of that conversation. And I don't do things just to participate in them. And like this might come off a certain way or sound a certain way. I don't do things to be in the middle of the pack. I do things to be great. I wanted to be great. I wanted to be great the second I got there. I wanted that first bump to look great. I wanted my first, you know, I'm running the ropes. Oh, he looks like a pro. He's a natural. This is all the stuff that I'm building up in my own head. And then when it's not there the first time or the second time, the anger starts building, the anxiety starts building, the doubt starts building, and now I'm filling my head with all of these things that I shouldn't be. My focus should 100% be on what's happening in front of me. But that's not always easy to do. And that day was a major realization of, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I have to find something in me that does not exist yet. I have to become what I have built this character up to be. I have to be at that level that I talk about. Oh, Chris Danger, he can do anything and he can come back from anything and he's resilient and all this bullshit I talk in the YouTube videos. Now that has to be a reality.
You threw yourself right into the deep end. I mean,
lion's den.
Like, there are people who take months to get this far into their training. When I was training up in Massachusetts, first month, all you were learning was ropes and bumps. Literally first month was ropes and bumps.
4 weeks. This is your fifth session. Her fifth session.
can't not be like.
What we're not gonna do is that. Focus on your breathing. Focus on kind of getting to a place where you feel like you can get forward, and then you can beat yourself up on the way home.
So I'm driving back after the session in complete silence after everything I went through that day and all the different thoughts that are filling my head and all the doubts that I put there myself. And the only thing that I kept thinking over and over and over is, what if I came all this way? What if I came 1,000 miles from home to fail? What if I came all this way and I just don't have it? Then what?
Ah! Fuck. I can't. Oh my god, I can't. I'm gonna just be a YouTuber. Ow! Oh, fuck off! So today's gonna be a little bit different than a normal day. It's gonna be a little lighter day because I unfortunately took I took a couple shitters over this last week, and I'm feeling the effects of that. So we're gonna work on some striking, some moveset stuff, and we'll see who shows up to help out. Who knows?
So after having one of the most difficult training days so far, pushing myself to the absolute limit, questioning whether or not I was gonna regret doing this, I got to a point where I said, you know what? You did not come this far to only come this far. I'm gonna see it through regardless, and it's gonna take a lot more than a little bit of puke and a lot of sweat to stop me. Because at this point, there's a lot riding on it. I got Breeze, I got my friends involved. We're making a friggin' documentary, all this other stuff. There's a lot of reasons for me to want to keep going. But the core of it has to be because I believe that I can. If I lose that, if at any point in time I stop believing that, all of this is for nothing. Being 1,000 miles away from home is for nothing. All those bumps are for nothing. All my friends coming through and supporting and saying how great, it's all for nothing. So either I pick my shit up and get back in there and go twice as hard, or I go home. And I'm not ready to go home yet. So we're gonna work. There were certain things that are non-negotiable. Never changing the name, black, red, and white all day long. And the finisher is gonna be the finisher that I've done in the games for the last 7 years. Fortunately, at this point in time, we had progressed enough and I had learned enough to where Breeze asked me, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want your moveset to look like? What do you want to throw in there?
Finish is the eat feet. I would love to throw a really clean super kick. A little more versatile with like the type of strikes I throw. Sure. Kicks and, you know, that type of shit. Knees too, I like throw over like a nice clean knee. I wrote down a rolling code breaker.
Yeah, we can try whatever you want.
I wrote down a bunch of shit last night. I was like, okay, let me see who I can like combine wrestler-wise into like what my style mostly is. And I was like, okay, bear with me now. Kyle O'Reilly in the striking sense, like
Sure.
look like throw good hard strikes, you know, all that type of shit. Truth, because the entertainment part of it is his thing, and the third one was a guy named Tyler Breeze.
I've heard good things. I've heard good things.
So it's like the strong strikes, but like entertaining first and foremost, but fluid and smooth, and like get from A to B cleanly. You know what I mean?
Makes sense to me. Probably the same because
obviously, like, we're not bigger dudes.
Yeah.
So like, I had to jump around and kick people in the head because
Right.
I can't pick up
Exactly.
everybody, especially
Exactly.
when they're massive. So,
Yeah.
like, I get it. That's easy.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been a slap in the face to everybody that has watched me and every video I have made up until this point if I didn't say, I want the taste of danger, I want the Philly special, I want the things that have made Chris Danger what he is as a fictional character. So as excited as I was to learn all these amazing things and all this new stuff, I was in a pretty serious amount of pain, a pretty solid amount of pain. I took one too many bad bumps in the first couple weeks.
Wrestling, man. Wrestling.
Fuck. Completely my fault, just wrong placement, wrong technique, stuff that has, that's why they drill it into you like that, so that every bump you take should feel exactly the same. And they didn't. They didn't. A couple of them felt different, and those are the ones that stuck with me for the longest. So we threw the crash pad in there just to make sure, I wasn't gonna hurt myself any further. We're trying to obviously be safe and take care of everybody. But it didn't take away from how fun it was to finally hit the moves that I've been hitting in the video game for the last, close to a decade.
I give him a target.
Yeah.
I know for me, it takes a lot to kind of get to a point where I just trust somebody to do this.
Yeah.
Right? There's a very few people that I would hope take care of me like this. So I know for me, every single time that I'm gonna get hit in the head, hand goes up.
Yeah.
Right? And again, it can't be out here. I'm not blocking it. I'm just putting my hand in and taking it out immediately. Right? And that's also gonna get my body going so that when I get hit, I can go and make a big sell out. Right? Yeah. But this is just there just to protect me. I'm not reaching, I'm not slapping a foot. I'm just giving a target, but as soon as it's there, it'll get my arms going and it'll also protect me. Okay, right?
So, first one obviously was a super kick. I need to be able to throw a good super kick if I'm gonna be Chris Danger, because that's kind of one of his things. And that was one of the most fun things to learn, because I do it at my house all the time. I pretend to hit people and all that stuff, but when you're actually trying to hit another person and make it look good and be safe, obviously all these things are going through my head. It's different than just me kicking the air at my house. I have to worry about not knocking somebody's chin off. I have to worry about, making sure I don't hurt anybody. So I was cool, oh, I'm gonna do these things. I was like, let's take a time, let's learn this right, and let's do it the right way.
Ready?
Okay with that? Yeah, you're not crunched up, your legs actually extended, that's all you do. Really? Ah, you got it, you took it. Just gonna bring this out for a sec, if you don't mind. Yep. Oh! Yep. Oh! Yep. Oh! Turn your face a little more, Chris. You're still kind of facing. Yep. Oh!
I think I threw three mediocre super kicks, and he fixed and tweaked a couple things, and now I'm just throwing them. And we move over to the eat defeat, the taste of danger.
So you'll have to jump a little bit with it, because I know for me, like, I probably would be able to do it. You just have to be aware, like, if you're jumping up and also holding, like, my leg can kind of kick to her head. So I have to make sure that I kind of create a little space, otherwise I'm going to kick her under the chin as I try to get my foot there, right? But basically, you know how you fucking land. You land like this, fucking foot right here. The main thing is you don't want to point your toe so you hit her in the neck. Instead, it's got to be nice and flat, and make sure your leg is straight. If she jams your knee, you're messed up. Instead, it's got to be a little bit bent, right there, and the second it's there, you got to kind of let it go. You hold on. Oh! So you just have to make sure as soon as there's a little bit of contact, like hold his wrist so you can get out of it. Not bad, try to get the foot higher. Okay, that's fine.
It's like, put it here. Where I'm sorry, where I put it here.
Okay.
You're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
Giants, huh? Get that foot up a little higher.
Like here, you can just jam it into me.
Get that foot up up there.
Yeah. I gotta like fucking like grab the ankle.
That's it. That's what it needs to be.
Okay.
That's what it needs to be. Yep. That's what it needs to be.
Okay. Okay. No, it didn't hurt. It just like I like caught it too soon. I feel like.
I think that too was a big realization day for me of like, holy shit, we're doing this. Not just like talking about it, not thinking about it, not like, hey, what if, like, I am in the ring learning how to safely and properly do this move. Now I'm creating my moveset and I'm piecing together the things that have made the fictional Chris Danger what he is after all this time. And I literally, I would walk around the ring sometimes and just laugh and just smile and be like, how the fuck did we get here? How is it even possible that a year ago, DPW doesn't exist, Chris Danger's never been on a real show in his life, and fast forward less than a year later, and I've been on 10 to 12 shows, and now I'm in a ring learning how to do my fictional moveset. What? If you told me that was gonna happen a year ago, I would have told you you're a dumbass. I would have said you're stupid, I'm a YouTuber, it's kind of I sit in my comfortable chair and I record my videos and then, you know, life goes on. But that is not the case. That is not the case anymore.
Holy moly, chat.
For 5
Hello.
seconds.
Oh, do you want your chair back?
No, I'm good. You're fine.
Okay.
Gotta
Okay. Here we go.
My man Chugs, my man Adam Cole, one of the single greatest human beings on the planet, period.
Well, funny enough is I feel like me and Chris almost took opposite paths in a lot of ways. Like pro wrestling was my goal and my dream, and then somewhere along the way, streaming and video games became a huge priority for me. I met Chris through a mutual friend of mine. We've been buddies ever since, and like I said, I'm excited to see what he does. When I went to a school, I was training Monday through Thursday, driving 2 hours to Philadelphia, driving 2 hours back. We got the absolute snot beat out of us, like every young wrestling trainee, as far as adjusting to the bumps and the bruises that comes with being in our industry. A super kick, unless the person reacts to it a certain way, that's what makes it look good or not.
Yeah.
For real,
Yeah,
seriously.
sure.
Like, again, you could throw like the most perfect super kick, but if someone stood there and like didn't move, it's gonna look like crap.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is on the sell. Again, Chris is a good friend of mine, but I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm not gonna say it just to be nice. Already, I feel like the progress he's made in such a short amount of time is really impressive. The biggest thing is committing to the dedication that he's put right now. Again, he's been working his tail off at Flatbacks. He's been doing everything he can to learn and get better and improve, but he needs to keep that mentality with pro wrestling going forward. So taking any and every booking that he possibly can, still continuing to train, still continuing to study. He needs to eat, sleep, and breathe pro wrestling. Otherwise, he's not going to get out of it what he wants. So as long as he commits to it, again, sky's the limit.
Another situation of an incredibly busy person taking the time out of their day to come support me in this endeavor that he does not have to do. By no means did he have to be there. And he showed up with the biggest smile on his face. He's been out of action on his own for a while now, so he couldn't really bump, couldn't roll around, do a lot of stuff at that moment in time. But him just standing there on the outside of the ring, watching me throw super kicks, watching me put my finisher together, watching me do all this, and then standing up and saying, hey, here's what I thought, here's what you could do better. How did we get here?
I don't know how we got here, man. It's so crazy. Like,
Hey,
these last couple weeks just fucking...
What's been the hardest part of it so far? Do you have a specific thing?
The conditioning
Yeah,
for me, because not for nothing, my job for the last 6 years has been sitting at a desk making YouTube videos and streaming. You know, it's not like, yeah, I go to the gym and whatever, but nothing compared to the stuff that we do here. So the conditioning is 100% the hardest part.
Well, I'll make you feel better, is because, again, when I decided I wanted to be a pro wrestler, I was on the wrestling team, I was weightlifting every day, running every day. I was still so blown up. Like pro wrestling conditioning is so different from
nothing else.
anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
like a whole different process that you have to go through to get yourself ready for.
I realized that
So,
very early on,
yeah.
the hard way.
It's tough. It's
yeah,
tough.
that's the toughest part. Like obviously the pain fucking sucks, but at the end of the day, it's like I'll take that all day, every day, as long as if I get through what I'm trying to get through, like conditioning wise, I'm confident in the rest of my abilities at this point. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of getting back home, drilling that in, drilling the conditioning in, and just getting reps and trying to get better.
Right,
You know?
right.
So-
Because the pain is tough, but when you love it so much, it's like that's a doable.
Nothing
thing.
has ever hurt this much that I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
this
right,
much,
right.
Like ever. It's as I say, this is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And also the most painful. And it's
Right.
like those two typically don't go together.
Yeah.
But man, we're here. We're doing
We're
it.
here. You're doing it.
I appreciate
You're doing
it.
it.
I
Keep it up,
appreciate
man.
you, too. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So we have somehow reached the final day today. I've done a lot of learning, a lot of hurting, a lot of flipping, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of bullshit. But today's the test. I feel like I've been studying for a test all these past couple weeks, and now I gotta see what it's all about. So, first time ever, you're gonna see your boy run through a full match. Man, I hope something good comes out the other end. But either way, my time here has been incredible. Wouldn't have traded it for the world. And now we gotta go show everybody what we're made of. Let's do it.
The only thing going through my head is, please God, let me pass this test. I know that I'm confident enough in what I've learned so far. I'm confident in the people around me that I can put together something cool at this point. But it's so important for me when it's over that Breeze and Spears can look at what we've done and say, we did a damn good job with this dude. The most important thing to me right now is Breeze and Spears putting their stamp of approval on me, putting their stamp of approval on Chris Danger, because we've been through everything at this point. They know what I'm capable of. Now it's just a matter of, can you piece it all together and make people believe? And if we finish this final day and I don't get the stamp of approval from them, or I don't get what I want to hear, it's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. So all I know is I am going to put every single thing I have into these final days and hours, so that I can at least say I gave it everything I had, and I'll never be able to say otherwise. Coming into this having zero idea what to expect, and zero idea of what the outcome was gonna be, the amount that I've learned along the way is unbelievable when I actually go back and think about it. I have a completely different perspective on wrestling than I used to. And I think this is one of those things where you really don't know until you are in there doing it. Take me, for example, I've watched wrestling for decades. I've been watching wrestling for decades. The experience was completely different than I thought it was gonna be. It was a roller coaster every single day, and you kind of get an idea in your head of what you think wrestling training is, or what you think is gonna go into preparing yourself for something like this, for putting a match together or whatever. And I was dead wrong about all of it. I had to completely rework my whole mentality around wrestling and why things are done the way that they're done. And having that knowledge now and all the things that they've taught me along the way, I feel like I've had a years-long course. I feel like I have been down here at Flatbacks for months at minimum. And it's been a very, very short period of time, but so much was thrown into that period of time, and so many things were thrown at me, and roadblocks got in the way and I got in my own way and everything. But like, here we are on the last day. And it's now either I put on a great match and I feel good about how we close out this whole thing, or I shit the bed and shit the bed.
Ring the bell! Let's go, Chris. Let me show you what it's like to be smooth. Really? Come on. Let's go. Let's go, Chris. Yeah. Oh, that was smooth. Come on. Yeah, one more time. Up, back up. Two times, Chris. Two times, Tom. Two. Smooth, baby. Yeah. I'm smooth. I'm smooth. That's right. I am smooth. Come on. I'm smooth. You're not smooth. You're not smooth. You're not smooth. They say you're not. They say you're not. Don't you do it. That's not smooth. It was not smooth. Now you like that. Now you ready? Don't play around. Don't play around. Yeah. I'm gonna shoot you smooth, Chris. I'm gonna shoot you smooth. Yeah. Got it. What do you say? No. This is smooth, Chris. That was smooth. Not smooth. All day, every day. This is what we do. This is what we do. How you like it? Nope. Nope. Come on. Nope. Nope. Watch your tail. We do it. Yep. Oh! That was smooth. Come on. Really? You're gonna boo me? That was smooth. That was rigid. Come on. Come here. Not smooth. Not smooth.
Come on.
God. No. No. He's a cheater. I'm done. Go ahead. You can count all you want. I'm done. I'm going home. I'm going home. Yep.
What do you say, Terry? He says no.
Not smooth. Smooth as hell. Smooth as all hell. They got me. Where the camera at? Where the camera's at? What's up, baby? What's up, baby? How we doing? No! No! I'm gonna write that one home. No! I'm gonna write that one home.
Have the hair, Terry. 1, 2, 3.
Yep!
Come on, Terry. Keep it on the corner.
Yep! Oh! Yep! Oh!
call me the smooth operator, baby. So that's your ass. No, it's not. Smooth! Oh, God!
One, two.
Yeah! No! Yeah!
One, two.
Yeah.
Two. One, two.
Come on, Ralph!
One, two.
Ralph!
Two.
Ralph, come on! That was three! That was three! God!
That was two.
Yeah! This is three, Ralph! This is three! Yeah! Yeah!
What do you say, Chris?
Yeah! No!
He says no.
Ask him again!
What do you say, Chris?
No!
He says no.
No! Shut up! Yeah! That's right. Real quiet now, huh? This is what smooth looks like. 99 overall, my ass. No.
Good.
No. Yep! Ah! Yeah. Yep! Oh. Ah. Come on. Come on. This is smooth. This. Stop. Stop. No! Yeah! Come on! Stay down, Chris! No! No!
What do you say, Chris?
That's it.
One, two. Sorry. Two.
You okay? You okay? You think you're better than me, Chris? Huh? Huh? You think you're better than me? Huh? Ah! You're not smooth. You'll never be smooth.
Why'd you turn?
What?
When you circle.
Because I hate wrestling. So I got me.
All right, do it. We're circling, you turn. You know what I'm saying? You have no clue where I'm at. Right? You duck my luck up. Yeah, see? When you did this, you did this. You're a baby face, and you duck my lock up. Or at least, like that's the second time, right? First time you duck my lock up. Now I'm fucking pissed off, right? If I beat you up, right? If I beat you up, here. What's happening next?
What do you mean? Forearm to back?
What's happening? Maybe a suplex, right? You don't know. Maybe I kick him. You don't know. What's happening next now?
Who knows?
Nothing. I can't kick him. Can't grab him. Can't do anything. Right? If he's in the corner, is he in trouble now?
Yes.
Yes. Is he in trouble now?
No.
You know for the next 2 seconds, there's absolutely nothing that's going to happen. Very minor thing too, but you went, you got him, and then you rolled him in, and you waited, and then you slid in. If you want to make it look like he's going to stop you, you roll him in and you go immediately behind him, then he's going to drop the elbow and you go right back out. Because it's kind of, you telegraphed it,
Too much, yeah.
and then, you know what I mean? Like, it needs to come out of nowhere, you know, especially if you go right back out, because I was like, oh, this is going to be the cutoff. And I was going to tell you, you look like an idiot for throwing him in and being like, hey. But that was good. I do this. This be, here, he's there. I'm trying to get up. Right. Both hands here. And I can do the same thing. I go like that, right? So if I'm here and I hear the crowd starting to clap, right? The crowd starts to clap. It's the same thing, but it's not doing this. It's just use that and then wham. I'm not a big fan of the 3-move combo before a cover, because that just means your first 2 moves are shit. Right? So like powerbomb, power slam. Like why do you do the first 2 power bombs? Because you want to do that with a cover, right? So if it goes on with a great false finish, because I think everybody believes that would be the finish. I would have cover, kick.
He did very well. He did very well in that match. I could take that match with him and John, put it out on an independent anywhere locally, and no one would be able to pinpoint that that was his very first match. No one. I can bet anything on that because I've been doing this for 21 years. But he actually excelled faster than kids in the current course were at 5, 6, 6.5 weeks deep. He was able to either be right up with them or even, in some cases, most cases, kind of a little bit ahead. So his match with John, it was great. It was easy. John's got about 2.5 years of experience under his belt. So he's vastly ahead of Chris in almost every category. But Chris was able to hold his own. He looked relaxed, he looked confident, and clearly he's coachable and he can listen. So that's all you need in a student, in a talent, because you can only build up from there.
Well, so honestly, Chris, I mean, not too bad, not too bad. You know, obviously this isn't just one of those things that you go, all right, now we're going and now we've mastered it. It doesn't work that way. But luckily, you're out there working, you got DPW on the go, you got all sorts of stuff. So I know that you're gonna hit the ground running and just kind of get more reps in of what you want to be, what you want to do, you know, who Chris Danger is exactly. So figuring out kind of, you know, where you want to go from here, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think actually seeing what's out there is gonna be a lot of fun. And I think, you know, what Chris is gonna take from here, what is just that wrestling can be fun. If you do it, obviously, if you do it right and if you do it safe. But once you get out there and you get in front of a crowd, it makes a world of difference, because being here in a warehouse is one thing, and learning how to do it properly, yes, it has to happen. Nobody sees that part, except, you know, obviously you guys will. It's not as glamorous as, you know, when you're all done up and you walk out and there's paying fans there who, you know, they're cheering or booing. Big eye opener once you go from that warehouse scenario into a live crowd. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I know that we're probably not done. I know that we're gonna be doing some more from here. So have fun out there, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Don't stop. Don't stop, that's it. And you hear that all the time. Well, if you quit, then you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. A lot of people leave the training, and I'm not just talking about this school, but a lot of schools, and then a month will go by, 2 months will go by, and then maybe they'll get a match. If you want to be successful, especially now in this day and age, there's no better financially, there's no better digitally, socially. Like, that was a really, really good time in professional wrestling because you can get work almost anywhere and you can be seen on almost any platform. So my advice to Chris is you got a little taste, you got 4 weeks under your belt. That's a great start, but that's just the start. So I question him in terms of how bad do you want this? How far are you willing to go? And if those 2 answers are at the very top, don't stop. That's it.
This entire experience has been not only the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but also the most rewarding, because being able to find out what you're really made of, being able to find out what your limits are, being able to push yourself to a point that you didn't even know existed, and then still coming out the other side is indescribable. For the first time in my life, I think I can look back on this and say, like, I'm pretty proud of myself for getting through it. There's not a moment of this that I'm gonna forget. There's not a second that I didn't love what I was doing, as much as it hurt, as much as it pushed me well beyond my limits. There's not a second that went by where I did not love all of it. And I would 100% do it again, and again, and again. So now it's a matter of taking what I have, taking what we've learned, and bringing it out into the world. The how and when and where will likely be answered in time. But for now, all I know is thanks to Breeze and Spears and my friends and the people that supported me, I made it out the other side. And from here, anything can happen. Anything.